Sound Bites. My name is Rob Carson. Welcome to the show. I am, of course, a foodie, I guess frustrated non-chef. And we bring you food news and have some special guests on the line as well. And one of them is with me today. He is known lovingly as Meathead. He owns and it is a proprietor of Amazing Ribs, which is a fantastic website. He joins us via Skype. Hello, the Pope of the Pit, as I like to call you. How's things going?
Hey, Rob, we haven't talked in a while. It's always good talking to you.
Always good talking to you. We're going to talk a little bit about barbecue, grills and things you're going to be, considering getting. And then also the big lie that is beer can chicken. We're going to get to that very shortly on the show. So make sure to make AmazingRibs.com one of your favorites that you go to every single day. It is a terrific site. This man, Meathead, you focused on the science of grilling and roasting meats, and more than anybody else, I think, you break it down to there is a science to it. I mean, as much as you don't want to think of it that way, but you that's what you've done.
No, you have to. In fact, every time you step into the kitchen or out on your deck, you are conducting a physics and chemistry experiment. Yeah. You are putting heat, which is energy, on meat, which is water and protein and fat, and you're altering the chemistry of it so it goes from tough and inedible to delicate and tasty and chewing, juicy. So it's absolutely physics and chemistry, and I enjoy explaining what is going on because, it's the old saying about give a man a fish and teach a man to fish. Exactly. If you understand the chemistry and the physics, you can be a better cook.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so before we go any further, excuse me, you were in Kansas City a couple weeks ago. I unfortunately did not get to meet you because I'm working 70 hours a week. You did get to hang out with Artie Davis, who I had on the show a couple of weeks ago. He's the founder, the proprietor of the greatest barbecue competition in the history of mankind, the American Royal World Series of Barbecue, which originally was a sauce competition.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
The Diddy Wad Diddy sauce competition.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So you went to Q39, which is Rob McGee's chef concept barbecue restaurant. I know that. What did you think of the restaurant? What'd you have?
I was impressed. I've been to Kansas City before, and this is my second trip in recent years, and both times I artfully dodged meeting you. Yes. And and we've talked, you and I, over the years now. Yeah. Over the phone and on Skype now, and we still haven't shook hands face to face, and we got to fix that.
I might have to give you a kiss. It's been so long.
Yeah, we went to several barbecue joints together, nice. And Q39 really stood out. It was really delicious. We had a great meal there. And Artie's he's a very erudite fellow. I mean, and his knowledge of history, his knowledge of barbecue, he knows everybody in the business. He's beloved and admired. He's in the Hall of Fame. Yep. I went over to his place and we just drove around together for a whole day. Can you imagine? I mean, that's truly hog heaven.
It is. Now, you went someplace and ate something weird, something akin to maybe what you see Andrew Zimmern eat on Bizarre Foods. Tell me about it. And I've got a picture you sent me. What did you have?
Well, Artie is a true aficionado of all things to eat, but especially all things pork. And, the old saying about from rooter to tutor, nothing is wasted. And Artie has written on several occasions about his love and admiration of Snoot.
Okay. What is Snoot?
Well, it is colloquial for snout. And that's the rooter. That's the front end of the hog that roots around in the mud. And it is edible. And I have talked to him about it on several occasions. So he took me to a little place that serves Snoot.
And you got a picture?
Served me, and we ordered Snoot sandwiches. And you have a picture of it. This is what I had for lunch that day.
Okay, I've got to make this a little bit bigger here. Dear God in heaven, this looks like the pig has a nosebleed and mustard bleed. Dear God in heaven, you ate this. What
Well, all right.
Oh,
It's mostly collagen.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
Pardon?
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, it's mostly collagen. There's a little bit of meat where it meets the jowls, and they pressure cook it for 2 hours, then they simmer it for a half an hour, and then it's served on a bun with mustard, ketchup, and onion. And it's really quite tender. I thought it would be very chewy. I thought it would be slimy. It wasn't. It was just very tender, kind of gelatinous. But I love the picture because it looks like somebody punched him in the face and he's bleeding from the nose with boogers blowing out.
I don't even know. Thank you for making it even more graphic. I appreciate that. Come on, tell me you had a little gag reflex or something when you bit into the nose.
No.
Nothing.
No. There were three of us. There's a guy named Hootie from Miami who joined us, and we just chowed down. I mean, we're eaters. Nothing scares me. I mean, I've eaten all kinds of. I've eaten every part of the animal, pretty much. I have no problem with eating organ meats. I have no problem with eating mountain oysters.
It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't look like the pig's nose was sticking through the bun and it has a nosebleed. That's just wrong. Yeah. I mean, if you ground it up, maybe made Snoot salad.
Well, I was telling a chef friend about it, and he says he's going to start serving them in his restaurant. So he ordered a bunch, and we were brainstorming, and I think you could have fun with it if you stuffed it with sausage.
Yes.
And then kind of sliced it like a meatloaf.
Okay.
Or stuffed it with sausage and then deep fried it. It's collagen, so it might get really crunchy and crispy like pigskin.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there may be some fun things, but this is apparently, it's a little Mexican joint, and this is apparently a typical Mexican prep.
I just can't do it, man. I mean, maybe if I was hanging with you and Artie and I had about 6 beers, I'd probably do the Snoot sandwich. But
we did in fact have about 6 beers. It's right, it's right across the street from one of these breweries. It's a big new brewery right near KCBS. What's that brewery?
Oh, KCBS? Oh, that's
KCBS
Boulevard.
is right next door brewery.
That's Boulevard.
Oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not too far, just almost across the street. There's like a little island in the middle, and almost across the street. I forget the name of it, but Artie will know. You can go there anytime. Take your wife and kids.
Is it called the Snooty Pig?
No. It was a lot of fun.
It's called
Artie.
It's called El Grosso. El Grosso. We serve the food that no one else would. The body parts that no one else would. I think you're right on the stuffing it with sausage. Although I'm not sure sausage coming out of the nostrils is any better than mustard.
He sells a lot of them.
He sells a lot of them. All right, whatever. Ugh, yuck.
Well, when we walked in there, he had them ready to go. I mean, they were in a pot simmering away. We ordered 3, and he fished them right out.
Was there any flavoring, any seasoning in the pig snout?
No. I mean, it had been pressure cooked and then simmered, and so it was just straight up.
That is just wrong, dude. Okay, let's move on to other stuff. Let's talk about barbecue and grilling. I was talking about the evolution. A lot of men, and I mean a lot of people, different ages, and I remember getting my first grill. And my first grill, obviously, particularly in Kansas City, your first grill is a Weber kettle. It's just a Weber kettle.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you move into, say, for instance, a gas grill. Okay, that's probably the next step for a lot of people. And then you keep the Weber kettle, don't get me wrong, because there's room for both of them, and then you move into the smoker thing. And that's where a lot of guys get stuck, because I think they get intimidated. I've talked to a lot of guys, and I keep telling them, I tell them, I said, you must learn the ways of the smoke. You must learn the ways of the smoke. Let's start a little bit about, first-time griller, maybe first-time homeowner, but guy's married, got his first lawnmower. I would recommend, say, for just to start cooking with wood and charcoal.
You of course, always underscoring anything when we get asked about what to buy is how much you want to spend. But if this is a first-time young man or woman moving in, just got the first lawnmower, limited budget perhaps, you can't go wrong with the Weber kettle. Yeah. I mean, there are things that they could do that I wish they would do to improve it slightly. but it's a darn good cooking tool.
Yeah, it is.
And you can grill, and if you know what you're doing, you can set it up and you can smoke on it.
Yeah.
And you can make a pretty darn good pork butt. I smoke my turkey on it often. You can do a brisket, a small one, it'll fit on there. There's a gadget that I got to tell you about called the Slow and Sear.
Okay. And
it is an insert into the Weber kettle, and it's a must-have. Now, you can get a stripped-down Weber kettle with none of the propane starter. You know, it's got a propane starter. It doesn't burn propane, but it's got a little bottle of propane that will start your charcoal for you. Sure. And then they got one with a table next to it and all the fancy mishmash that you can spend $300 on it. But the stripped-down basic kettle, you can still get for under $100.
Yep.
And often, if you drive down the alleys, you can find them in the alleys.
I know.
Out.
Yeah.
They last forever. I mean, they're enamel coated. They just keep on going. And my dad had one when I was a boy. I love my Weber kettle, and I cook on it often. And the Slow and Sear insert really enhances your ability to turn it into a smoker. It divides it, pushes all the coals off to one side, holds them in a small confined area, has a water dam that separates the coals from the indirect side, so you can cook on the indirect side, which is what you want to do when you're cooking with smoke. You want to heat it with convection airflow and smoke. You don't want it over the coals. But if you're doing something like a steak, a big thick steak, and reverse sear, which you may have talked to your people about. If you haven't, we can talk about it. But it's a great technique for a lot of stuff. But if you reverse sear, you start it on the indirect side, and then you finish it over the coals. It has the coals raised up so they're just below the cooking surface.
Gotcha.
So you get a fabulous sear with it.
I love it.
And this gadget costs about $100. And no, I'm not selling them.
All right.
I just really like this gizmo. For about $100, it'll turn your Weber kettle into a smoker.
All right, let's move on to gas grills, okay? Because a lot of people will say, and I remember my good friend Mike McKay, God rest his soul, he worked at WMAL. He's the guy who told me about you originally, so I kind of curse him for that. No, I'm just kidding. But Mike, God bless Mike. Mike would say, Rob, if you want a stove or if you want a gas grill, just roll your oven out onto the damn deck. He did not gas grills.
So I hear this a lot. You might as well cook indoors, they say. Yes. This is not true. Okay. In fact, I'm going to rant for a little bit. I love Traeger pellet smokers. They're out there now. They keep innovating. They're doing great stuff. I love Traeger pellet smokers. If Traeger, you're listening and you hear this little screed, remember how much I love you, because I'm going to rip you a new one.
Uh-oh.
There's an ad you're running out there right now where you show your pellet smoker and say, here's the Traeger pellet smoker, and it cooks with wood. That guy over there is cooking with gas, and he's standing there and he's holding it up to the nose. Smells like gas. And everybody at his party says, smells like gas. That's a lie. It's not true. No. When you burn propane, it burns thoroughly. It burns completely. There is no gas smell. There's no sulfur smell. It is odorless and flavorless, and it does burn with a flame. And flame cooking is different than cooking in an oven indoors. Yes, a grill is an oven. A charcoal grill is an oven. They're all ovens.
Yeah.
But a gas grill does let you cook over flame, and it does impart a different flavor, and you can put wood on it and get real wood smoke. So it's a different animal. The biggest problem with gas grills, and the difference between gas grills and gas ovens, is they don't have a thermostat yet. And Rob, if you want to make a fortune, you invent a thermostat for gas grills so that I can go out and set my gas grill for 225 or 325 and walk away and know that it's going to hold that temp, just like my indoor oven. I don't know why nobody has done this yet, but I'm waiting. But I have a gas grill, and I love it. There are some things I prefer charcoal for, like anything red meat. All red meat's go on the charcoal grill. Steaks, lamb chops, duck breast. But a gas grill is really good on a busy weeknight when you come home. You flick it on, and in 10 minutes, you've got it up to temp. You can cook. You can do fish. You can do all kinds of stuff with
Burgers.
it. Chicken. You can get it off in a hurry. And with, again, another add-on, there's a gadget called grill grates. I don't know if I bet you're familiar with grill. Have you seen grill grates? It's a replacement grate system for your grates that go on a grill, but they look like railroad tracks, and they're connected.
Yeah.
So you can actually throw sawdust or pellets in between the grates, and they're right below the meat.
Yep.
And when they smoke, they're almost in contact with meat. So stuff like a fish fillet, which is going to cook fast, you can get smoke flavor into it really quickly on a gas grill, really well done, really done well. So, I mean, these things, they have and rotisserie. Rotisserie is really easy on a gas grill, and I like to do a rotisserie chicken with a pan underneath, and in that pan I have onions and carrots and potatoes, and you can have a lot of fun with a gas grill. It's quick and easy, and there's no mess to clean up.
All right, well, we're going to get to the myth, the lie, the big lie that is beer can chicken in a second. Let's talk about smokers real quick. Somebody who's never done a smoker before, they're nervous about it. I don't understand how to do this. Do I have to babysit it? Do I have to, sleep by it if I put a pork butt in there overnight? Tell us about some good smokers and for those who are kind of frightened to try it, allay their fears, my friend.
Well, there's a whole range of them. There is what we call a cabinet smoker, which looks like a little mini dorm fridge. And they burn charcoal. They're wonderful. You can set them up and fire it up and pretty much walk away. You got to come back and check the temp every now and then, maybe adjust the airflow. But they're really well insulated and they'll hold a lot of meat. There's the Weber Smoky Mountain, which is sort of like a long, tall cylinder, and it's got a water pan in there, which helps regulate the temperature. Again, you got occasionally some adjustments to do to the vents, but it'll hold a lot of meat, and they're very inexpensive. Yeah. They're under $400. But there's what's really catching on now and really works is the barrel smoker.
Yeah,
and I know you've got a pit barrel. You have a pit barrel cooker.
Yes.
In fact, I helped arrange for you to get it, and it is $300 delivered to your door, no assembly,
glorious. And
it's brain dead simple. I don't know how they figured out just how the airflow works, but pretty much you just take your food and stick it in there. Well, first of all, you fire it up, take your food, stick in there, and walk away.
Yeah.
And they're really nice, and of course, they look macho.
Yeah.
These barrel smokers are really nice, and they can grill if you want to. You need a little fiddling, but they can actually grill things like a steak. There's the offset smoker, which I just was at Home Depot the other day, and they were rolling them out. And these are like two little tubes connected. One is a tube, and the other one's a tube that sits down below it and connected to the end.
Yeah.
And this is called an offset smoker, and you put the charcoal or the wood in the little tube that's connected to the end. And these cheap ones, they look really macho. They look like, okay, I'm a real smoker now. Please don't buy the cheap ones at the hardware store. Okay. They have really bad temperature control, airflow control. They leak like a sieve. To control temperature, you need to control air. It's one of the reasons why the Weber kettle, is such a great tool. It's a very tight cooking environment. You can control the airflow and therefore control temperature. Got two fuels, charcoal and air, or gas and air. These cheap offset smokers at the Home Depot and stuff are a trap. You'll never get great food with them, and they'll be out in the alley after a year, and you'll probably give up and hang yourself.
Yeah. Now, go ahead.
There's one more I want to tell you about, and that is another type of cabinet smoker. Again, it looks like a small dorm fridge. Yeah. But they make them with gas. And the gas ones are really easy to regulate, that you put wood in there and it'll burn wood, and they're fantastic. And they're really easy to control the temperature, and they're pretty much set it and forget it. And I forgot the last one is the pellet smoker.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, we're getting a lot of feedback here on my.
Yeah, we're hearing. Can you? How about now? Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I hear you, but
we've got some weird. You're frozen up, unfortunately, on my computer. Real quick here, so.
And I'm hearing my own voice back at me.
Well, that's.
I'm wondering if Skype is misbehaving.
Do
you want to reconnect?
Yeah, let's do that. Real quick, because we've got a couple more minutes here. Let me go ahead and hang up, and I will call you right back here.
Yeah,
and see if this will work, because it's being kind of weird. Let me go ahead and I don't
I'm
like
hearing my own voice
frozen up here. Let me go ahead and move over here. This is this is what you hate when you're in the middle of something. Let's go ahead and remove that and recall Meathead Goldwyn, because this is not good. Meathead, let's go ahead and try this here. Let's go to calls. This is here's a problem, guys. I use a lot of CPU. CPU is a big deal on computers. And when you have issues with CPU, all right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. You're fine. How about me?
I can hear you. Just let me go ahead and add you to the screen again. I've got
my audio problems have gone away.
Oh, you've gone away? How about now? Okay, hold on 1 second.
No. I'm saying my audio problem has gone away.
Well, good. Well, we've got you, and it's unfortunately your video is still frozen. But anyway, let's. We've got about another 4 minutes here. Let's talk about the myth of beer can chicken. The myth of beer can chicken.
Before we get there was one last smoker that I didn't touch upon.
Oh, please,
and that is these new pellet smokers.
Yes,
and they're fantastic. They burn real wood pellets. They look like if you took a pencil and broke them into 10 pieces.
Yeah.
You get a bag of these and dump them in the hopper, and they're electronically controlled. You can control many of them with your smartphone, and they just set a temperature, hold it dead set, and they make a very delicate smoke. It's not a big, powerful smoke, and they're really easy to operate, and they're a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, I like them, and I've been very interested in trying it, because I think it's a great concept. I think it's a great idea. And then also, it's a good way to kind of recycle wood. I'm sure wood chips, things like that. It's a good way to use them, and I think it's environmentally kind of a smart thing to do. So let's talk about the big lie that is beer can chicken. Tell me about it.
All right. So you go to the game, right? And it's a hot day, and you want to keep your beer cold, right? So what do you got? You got this little rubber thing you put around the beer can, and it's called a koozie. What's it called again, Rob?
Koozie. A koozie.
A koozie.
Yes.
A koozie. And it's supposed to keep your beer cold, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to take your chicken out of the fridge at 38 degrees. That's your chicken temp. The temperature in the fridge usually is 32 to 40 degrees, in that range. And you're going to take it out, and you're going to stick a beer can up its butt. You have just made a chicken koozie.
Yes.
You have just made a beer can insulator.
Yes.
Now, if you cook your chicken properly, you're going to cook it to 160 to 165 degrees. Beer won't steam until it hits 212 degrees or thereabouts.
That's true.
Beer is 95% water.
That's true.
So you're just not going to generate steam. Even if you overcook the heck out of your chicken and take it up to 180, 190, you're still 20, 30 degrees below steaming temp. You just are not going to generate steam. Maybe a little vapor will come off. But remember, it's only 2 or 3% flavor. There's very little flavor in a can of beer, the molecules. And if it comes off, it's not going through the sides of the can into the body of the chicken. If it does, it's just going to come out the top of the beer can, and maybe it'll touch the inside of the chicken. But guess what happens when that vapor hits the inside of the chicken?
Real quick,
the chicken's cold.
Yeah.
It condenses and falls back in the can.
All right.
It's not getting into the meat.
All right.
Any muscle meat, whether it's a chicken or a steak, is about 75% water. This chicken is fully saturated. It's like a sponge that has no more room for water. You can't get any more fluid in there. You could take a chicken, weigh it, stick it in a tub of water, and leave it there, pull it out and weigh it again, and at most it's going to absorb 2 or 3% by weight.
Yeah.
There's just no room for beer to get into the chicken. And even if it does get into the upper part of the body, how is it going to get down to the legs and thighs?
Listen, I'm on
a roll.
Meathead, I got to cut you off, man, because we're up against a hard break here. Dude, it was always good to talk to you. God bless you. I will never... All right, next time you're in Kansas City, I'll consider eating a Snoot sandwich, okay?
Rob, always good talking to you too, bud.
All right, God bless you, brother. Talk to you soon. Meathead. AmazingRibs.com is the website, and it is amazing. AmazingRibs.com, a favorite. You will not regret it. We've got a ton of food news on the way coming up in a couple of minutes. My name is Rob Carson. You are listening to Soundbites. Stick around.